is 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I think we've got a pretty decent amount of ground to cover tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, I just lead off by thanking you all for being here. Big night, a lot of stuff to cover. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. And turn it over to Lindsey.
Mayor Holland.
Here.
Mayor Pro-Tem Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Brownlow.
Here.
Commissioner Sanderson.
Here.
Commissioner Sawyer.
Here.
Commissioner Wootten.
Here. Thank you. Please bow your heads with me in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be here, to live here, to serve here. Thank you for the opportunity to live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Let us not take it for granted. Let us consider it a blessing and always get up all day, every day, and do the best we can to preserve this beautiful way of life that we have. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please stand and face our flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Item number 5 would be our public comment segment. There should have been a sign-up sheet on the table on the left. If you came in, I know we're crowded. You might have missed it or might not have known it was there. Clerk will invite everybody up to the podium for 3-minute public comment. If they'll call by name as in the order that you signed up. If you missed it, don't worry. We'll make sure you get your turn to speak. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. I'll throw a hand up and thank you around the 3-minute mark. I'm not going to cut you off mid-sentence, but if you would finish your thought and be respectful to the speakers behind you, we'd appreciate it.
Karen D.
Thank you. Hi, I get a little nervous talking in public, so I'm going to read my little thing.
And one little thing, if we'll hold that mic until you hold it up real close, that way the people at home listening can hear. There we go. Thank you.
That good?
Yes, perfect.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Congratulations on your new adventures that we're elected in with our town. My name is Karen D., and I am a resident of Emerald Isle. I'm here today to kindly request your consideration in allowing my business, the Frosty Flounder, a vintage ice cream truck, to obtain a special use permit to operate within the town's neighborhoods. I have already obtained a satellite merchant permit with the town of Emerald Isle for the current 2025 year. As someone who lives here and is invested in our community, I have received many requests from Emerald Isle residents asking if my truck could visit their homes in non-gated neighborhoods. My goal is to serve the town by driving through designated routes through neighborhoods, offering a family-friendly and community-oriented service that many residents are excited about. My mission with my business is to support my local community, so I donate as much of my profits as I can to local schools and nonprofits in Carteret County. I truly appreciate your time and consideration, and I hope you will support this opportunity for a local small business to serve the people of Emerald Isle. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The Frosty Flounder.
Irv Monclova.
Hi, Irv.
Hello there. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I'll be very short. Actually, my message is more for the new board coming in. And it's very short. Bring the fireworks back. If you all agree about standing up and giving an applause. He's behind this program as well. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Dwayne McDougall.
Hi, Dwayne.
Well, your voice, my mission, right? I didn't win the election, but I'll be back in 2 years. And I want to congratulate everybody that won and have everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
That's all. sign up. Anyone miss the sign-up sheet or have anything they'd like to say before? I don't want to miss anybody. Yes, sir.
This may seem odd, but it's very pertinent to all the citizens of Emerald Isle. Property tax. I have been looking at what's going on, and I did my property tax appeal. I don't think things are going straight over there at the county building. I asked pertinent questions on how they do the appraisals. They're taking the 2024 sales reports, and they're going on basically the highest sales of what's going on, and charging everybody in that kind of properties that have square footage the same and like product. It's not true. It doesn't happen that way. There's, excuse me, I'm neuropathy and I shake. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to think about. Auditing is not being done properly. They're using contractors to do the appraisers. That is subject to fraud. I found that out before as I was living in Pennsylvania, the county of Adams, where I did a lot of vetting myself and found the appraisers to be very untrustworthy. When I was in the appraisal meeting, I asked questions of both the board and the appraisal people. They don't even go out to the sites to see the construction going on. They don't know what the true value of the labor costs are out there. One woman got up, she says, well, we use union rates. 95% of the workers out there are from migrants, and they don't speak English. A lot of them don't even get a minimum wage. Now, that's not union wage, that's not true cost, but we, the homeowners, are having to pay that cost. Why should we be overcharged? I'm asking that we, the board, Mr. Rush, the lawyers, go out and challenge them. We need something done. Our property taxes are going out of sight. The real estate is not really going up. It's basically plateauing. The rentals aren't going down. What they're doing is they're substituting all year-round rentals now to make up the difference in their loss. But us as the citizens that live here are being hit the most, and we shouldn't be. We should try to make them come clean. Let's give it a try.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And for your name for the record and so that we can follow up.
Bill Faraci.
I'm sorry?
Bill Faraci, F-A-R-A-C-I.
Thank you, sir. Did we miss anyone else? All right. Excuse me. Item 6 is the "We Heard You" follow-up to prior public comments. There should be a copy of that on the table as you came in on the left or on your right as you go out. Item number 7 would be the identification of any conflict of interest. I'll turn it over to our town clerk, Lindsey Burton.
Any conflict of interest, Mayor Holland?
No.
Mayor Pro-Tem Taylor?
No.
Commissioner Brownlow?
No.
Commissioner Sanderson?
No.
Commissioner Sawyer?
No conflict.
Commissioner Wootten?
None.
Thank you. Item number 8 would be the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Commissioner Sanderson moves to adopt. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion is carried 5-0. Thank you. All right, item 9, we have the introduction of some new employees / recognition of employees. I believe I'll turn it over first. Frank Rush, our town manager.
Thank you, Mayor Holland, Commissioners. I won't make her get up, but I'm happy to introduce Lindsey Burton, our new town clerk, human resources specialist. Lindsey started working for the town in October, and very, very pleased to have her in that role with the town. She comes to us with about 4.5 years of experience with Carteret County, working in economic development and in their planning office. She also possesses a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in business from Mount Olive University. So she's a native of Goldsboro and lives in the Morehead City area right now. Her family has since relocated to this area. So really pleased to welcome Lindsey to our team. She's really jumped in and taken the initiative and really gotten up to speed very quickly, and has really shown her ability to serve our customers well and also take the initiative going forward. So thank you, Lindsey, for being here, and welcome.
Welcome,
Thank you very
Lindsey.
much. Welcome. It's a big job, a lot of hats to wear with that one title, so God bless you and good luck. All right, John Neville, our planning director, with the next recognition.
Good evening, everyone. I want to introduce everyone to our new permit technician, Mikey Tata. Mikey started with the town on November 10th and has already hit the ground running. As a true asset to the planning department and the town hall, Mikey will be working hard entering applications and assisting citizens as they enter the town hall, as well as many other department tasks in planning. Will also be the first voice of contact for those that call the town hall. Mikey is currently finishing up his Bachelor of Political Science degree at UNC Charlotte. He also worked as planning intern at Cape Carteret, where he gained much knowledge dealing with zoning permits, land use issues, preparing presentations for planning board meetings, and collaborating with staff to support sustainable projects. This, with his customer service experience prior, makes Mikey a very valuable asset, and we are very happy to have him on our team. I would also like to thank real quick Tony Marini for his excellent work in his role previously, and Gail Knapp for assisting the town while we were going through the process of hiring a permit technician. You want to say anything, Mikey? Sure.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Frank, and thank you, commissioners and all, for giving me this wonderful opportunity and to serve the town and you guys. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, and then Chief Matthias, there you are.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, citizens. Here tonight to introduce a new employee with us, James Strickland. He comes to us from Morehead City as a fire engineer paramedic. Very excited to have him on the team. His knowledge and his experiences are going to help train new firefighters, new paramedics for years to come.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'll keep this very short and sweet. My name's James Strickland. As Chief Matthias noted, I come here from Morehead City after 17 years. I've got a total of 22 years in the service. Kind of got into this with my dad, who still does teaching at 69 years old and shows no sign of retiring right now. Following in his footsteps, doing some teaching. I'm excited to be down here and look forward to finishing out my career down here.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, welcome all of our new employees. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a part of our town. All right, item 10, we've got Candace Dooley and Jamie Limbaugh. Is Jamie here?
I actually have several guests that I'm going to ask to join me.
Well,
So
floor
good
is
evening,
yours.
everyone. First of all, I would ask that my committee members and key town employees who have supported me for 11 plus years, and especially this year, which was very different and difficult for us, to please join me. I certainly don't deserve to stand here alone. And before you even get started, these people deserve a huge round of applause. Thank you. So this presentation is a little bit different for me this year. I want to thank you all for being here as we gather to celebrate another successful year for the Emerald Isle Marathon, Half Marathon, and 5K. And I would like to take a moment to pause, reflect, and honor the life of Megan Vaughn, who we tragically lost during this year's event. It deeply affected the people standing with me, myself, and our community. So please, let's take a moment of silence to remember Megan. Thank you. Now bear with me so I can make it through the rest of this. So each year, this race represents far more than the miles that are run, the finish lines that are crossed. It represents our community, our willingness to come together, lift one another up, and make a meaningful impact. Tonight is a testament to what can be accomplished when dedicated people join forces for a shared purpose. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to my race committee, whose tireless commitment ensures that every detail comes together every year. To our incredible volunteers who show up with heart and enthusiasm in every role and very early in the morning. To our first responders and our department heads, whose professionalism, partnership, and steady support make this event possible and safe. To our sponsors, who invest generously in our mission, and to every participant whose energy and spirit continue to fuel this event every year. Because of all of you, and because of our runners who show up every fall to race these streets, and this year we represented 42 states and 3 countries. The Emerald Isle Marathon has been able to give back in a profound way. Over the last 11 years, including tonight's contributions, this race has donated a remarkable $440,000 to our community and charitable partners. This is an extraordinary impact, and it belongs to every single person who's ever been a part of this race in the last 11 years. Tonight, we continue our tradition of giving, and our first check will support a cause that benefits both residents and visitors alike, the Bike and Pedestrian Fund, an ongoing effort to enhance safe, healthy mobility throughout Emerald Isle. To accept this $25,000 donation on behalf of the committee, please help me welcome Mike Taylor.
Candace and the entire committee, all the volunteers, all the racers over the years, it's a phenomenal feat that you guys have been able to do. And I know you spearhead the project, but I know you don't do it by yourself. And you spread the credit where credit is due. And a thank you to everybody involved in that. That's a huge accomplishment and a tremendous honor. So thank you very much. I'm proud of you all.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. A couple more things, if that's all right.
Sure.
So this year's designated health-related charity, which we've chosen one over the last 10 years, is one that brings hope, strength, and support to individuals and families navigating one of life's most difficult journeys. The Crystal Coast Cancer Rehab Center is a nonprofit dedicated to solely assisting cancer survivors at any stage of their diagnosis or recovery. Their mission is to improve quality of life, alleviate symptoms and side effects, and provide compassionate, individualized support throughout the healing process. They are changing lives quietly and every single day. We're honored to partner with them this year, so if you could please join me in welcoming the founder of the Crystal Coast Cancer Rehab Center, Jamie Limbaugh, as we present our $25,000 donation to their very essential work.
Excuse me. Thank you all very much.
Just a few last words. To everyone here tonight, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for caring. Thank you for helping this race continue to uplift our community in ways that matter today and the ways that matter will matter for years to come. Together, I hope that we can honor those that we've lost, support those who need us most, and celebrate the powerful good that can come together when a community shows how compassionate they are. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. All right, item number 11. Chief Matthias, you're back up to the podium again, sir. Excuse me. Hey, Lynn.
Feel like I was just up here. So every year, the fire department, for the past 7 years, has put on cancer awareness shirts. All proceeds go towards a charitable cause. And so the first couple years that we did this, I kind of found trouble in writing the address to Atlanta, Georgia for the one charitable cause that we started out with, and sought out to see where we could put this money locally. And so we found Little Pink Houses of Hope. This year, we were able to raise a total of $737.50, and that donation will go back to the Emerald Isle retreat that Little Pink Houses of Hope puts together here on our beaches. We'd like to introduce Lynn, for those that don't know her.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the generosity that you and the whole Emerald Isle community shows to Little Pink Houses of Hope. If you don't know who or what Little Pink Houses of Hope is, they provide a week-long retreat for families on the breast cancer journey. And believe me, if you don't know anybody, you will. You will. I got involved in 2015 and have been supporting the retreat here ever since. And I'm honored that in 2026, I will be the retreat coordinator. And again, we couldn't do it without the community. The way this community loves Emerald Isle is just amazing. And again, it's the community that makes it. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much, and continue to love Little Pink.
Lynn, can I ask you for a small favor?
Yes.
Great account of what Little Pink Houses does on a high-level view. I'm thankful to have been able to work with you a little bit over the years. Share, please, for the people here and for the people watching at home, how they can possibly contribute, how they can help. I know that a week-long retreat is a house, but a lot more goes into it than that.
Well, there is a lot more that goes into it than that. And again, what we're looking for now is always houses, because we can accommodate as many people as we can find houses for. There are always more applicants than there are homes to serve them. So if you know anyone who has a rental property who you think may have the heart, I sit down here at Blue Water Realty. Come see me. I'll give you all the information that you need. And supporting those that support us. Buy you a t-shirt next year when the fire department puts them on sale. Their motto usually is nobody fights alone, and nobody does. But it really is the community. LittlePink.org if you want to donate, if you want to be a volunteer. The most powerful thing I've done is go to Tybee Island and spend the week as a volunteer. Because when Retreat Week shows up, people come here from all over to do nothing but serve those families and make sure they get everywhere they need to be, they have everything they want. And you just have no idea. When you go to a family night and you hear a little kid say, I'd never met anybody else whose mom didn't have hair. I mean, oh. And when you hear the survivors talk about what the week meant to them, it meant that they had someone they could talk to. it meant a connection that they'd never had before. So if you have the heart or know someone who does and have a property you'd be willing to donate, littlepink.org. You can walk through the process. You can come see me. Again, I sit down at Blue Water. I'm always there. So stop by. I'll give you all the information you need. We do fundraisers from time to time. Participate in those. And when we come knocking, say yes. But houses, please, houses, they're a big deal for us. Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Excuse me. All right, item number 12 is proclamations and public announcements. Do we have our public announcements queued up already? Perfect. All right, our next Police Educating the Public is Tuesday, December 16th from 10 to 11 here in the boardroom. The next Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting will be held Wednesday, December 17th at 9 a.m. That'll be in the community center. Next Coffee with a Cop is Thursday, December 18th at December 18th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here in the boardroom. The town admin building will be closed for the Christmas holiday, December 24th through the 26th. Community Center will also be closed December 24th and 25th. The Police Department Reception Office will be closed December 24th after 4 p.m. and all day Christmas Day, December 25th. Trash collection, there will be no trash collection December 25th or December 26th. For the New Year holiday, our town admin and community center will be closed on New Year's Day, January 1st. I believe that'd be 2026. Close enough. You know what we mean. And New Year holiday, there will be no trash collection January 1st and January the 2nd. The next Neighborhood Watch Committee meeting will be Tuesday, January 6, 2026 at 4 p.m. here in the boardroom. The next Board of Adjustment meeting will be held Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in the meeting room. And the next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held Tuesday, January 13th at 6 p.m. here in the boardroom. Thank you. All right, I have a couple of proclamations that I'm going to read. The first one is declaring November 20th World Pancreatic Cancer Day. Bear with me. Town of Emerald Isle proclamation for World Pancreatic Cancer Day, November 20th, 2025. Whereas in 2025, an estimated 67,440 individuals in the United States will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and approximately 51,980 will lose their lives to this devastating disease. Whereas pancreatic cancer is the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, surpassing breast cancer, and is projected to become the second by 2030. Whereas pancreatic cancer has the lowest 5-year relative survival rate of all major cancers, currently at just 13%, and remains the only major cancer with a 5-year survival rate below 20%. Whereas symptoms of pancreatic cancer often appear in the late stages of the disease, resulting in only 15% of cases being diagnosed when cancer is still localized, and more than 87% of those diagnosed die within 5 years. Whereas an estimated 1,910 deaths will occur in North Carolina due to pancreatic cancer in 2025, whereas the health and well-being of the residents of Emerald Isle are enhanced through greater awareness, education, and research into early detection, risk factors, and effective treatments for pancreatic cancer. Now, therefore, I, Jason Holland, Mayor of the Town of Emerald Isle, do hereby proclaim November 20th, 2025 as World Pancreatic Cancer Day in the Town of Emerald Isle, and encourage all residents to learn more about this disease and support efforts towards prevention, early detection, improved treatments, and ultimately a cure. Proclaimed this 19th day of November 2025, Jason Holland, Mayor. lighter note. Small Business Saturday, Town of Emerald Isle Proclamation. Whereas small businesses are the backbone of the Town of Emerald Isle's economy, representing the spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and community that make Carteret County unique. Whereas small businesses create jobs, keep dollars circulating locally, and strengthen the civic fabric of our neighborhoods through philanthropy, volunteerism, and public service. Whereas supporting small, independently owned businesses help preserve the distinct character of the Town of Emerald Isle that enhances the quality of life for residents and visitors alike. Whereas small business owners in the Town of Emerald Isle have demonstrated resilience, adaptability, and dedication to customer service, continuing to invest in our community's future. Whereas the Saturday following Thanksgiving has become nationally recognized as Small Business Saturday, encouraging residents to shop small and support local small businesses during the holiday season and throughout the year. Whereas the Town of Emerald Isle seeks to join our partners across Carteret County in amplifying the call to support local merchants, makers, and service providers. Now, therefore, I, Jason Holland, Mayor of the Town of Emerald Isle, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday, and urge residents and visitors to shop small, dine locally, and share their experiences to inspire others to support our community's small businesses. Let this day serve as a kickoff to a season of sustained commitment to a small business in the Town of Emerald Isle and across Carteret County. Proclaim this 19th day of November 2025, Jason Holland, Mayor, Town of Emerald Isle. Thank you. All right, item number 13. I'm going to turn it over to our manager, Frank Rush. We have updates and possible action regarding the friendly condemnation of the property at 9201 Coast Guard Road, Pebble Beach for future fire station. All you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. Thank you, commissioners. Happy to be here tonight to give you an update on our efforts to acquire a 2-acre tract of land at the Pebble Beach condominium complex, and then have 3 different items associated with that effort for the board to consider tonight that would enable this effort to move forward. As you know, at your October 14th meeting, the board unanimously approved a resolution authorizing the manager and the attorney to move forward with a friendly condemnation of a 2-acre tract at the front of Pebble Beach condominium complex for the future construction of a new fire substation to serve Western Emerald Isle, the Coast Guard Road area, other nearby areas. As part of that resolution adopted by the board authorized a total amount of just compensation for the acquisition of the property in the amount of $1,255,000. That dollar amount was determined by an appraisal completed by Realty Services of Eastern Carolina. They're an Eastern North Carolina appraisal firm based in New Bern. That appraiser was selected jointly by the Pebble Beach Homeowners Association and the Town of Emerald Isle. You notice that I referred to this as a friendly condemnation. The reason for that is that this entire effort has been pursued in complete cooperation and partnership with the Homeowners Association Board of Directors in Pebble Beach. And we've had a good dialogue, a good relationship for the past several months to advance this going forward. We went through all the details of the property acquisition at your last meeting on October 14th. I included a lot of the same materials in the packet. Certainly, if there are questions about any of the details of the property, please feel free to ask those as we go forward. I wanted to give you a brief update on what efforts we've undertaken since we last met on October the 14th. So the first thing we did is we included a comprehensive update and also all of the supporting information associated with this effort in the mid-October Emerald Tidings newsletter to be completely transparent with everyone about the effort being undertaken by the town. Both myself and the fire chief participated in an informal public meeting on October 21st. We had some members of the community. We had some members from the Pebble Beach condominium complex there. We answered a lot of questions posed at that meeting, had a good dialogue with roughly about 25 people who attended that. In late October, we sent the official notice of the friendly condemnation to all 228 condominium unit owners, as well as the Homeowners Association. A copy of that notice was in your packet on October 14th. There's also a copy of that in here tonight. Those were all sent via certified mail. The vast majority of those were accepted and delivered. There are a few that were not delivered, and we've attempted to send additional follow-ups to some of those folks as well. As part of that notice, it outlined all the details that we went through at your meeting on October the 14th. It also invited the unit owners to attend a special informational meeting on November the 15th. And so on November the 15th, myself, the Assistant Fire Chief, and the HOA President for Pebble Beach convened a meeting of Pebble Beach unit owners right here in this room. We also had a remote option for people to participate in the meeting. We had probably about 25 people in person, another 35 people at the max that participated remotely via the Zoom platform, answered a lot of questions for folks, explained some of the further details associated with that. In addition to that, the fire chief attended the Homeowners Association meeting on November the 1st and also provided a presentation to unit owners and answered questions at that time. One of the concerns that came out of the meeting that we had on November the 15th was a question and a concern about the appraisal. So I mentioned to you that the appraisal showed a value of $1,255,000. If you look at that appraisal, it actually had a $50,000 deduction for some basically landscaping debris, other debris that's accumulated over the years in the Pebble Beach complex. And for that reason, the appraiser reduced the value from $1,305,000 to $1,255,000. There were concerns expressed about that from some of the residents at Pebble Beach. And subsequent to that, Pebble Beach actually undertook an effort to remove all of that debris. So that has now been completed right around Thanksgiving, or before Thanksgiving. They've removed all that debris. So one of the things that I'm recommending as part of your actions tonight is to increase the amount of just compensation from $1,255,000 to $1,305,000. And that's part of the resolution. We also included an additional update in the Emerald Tidings newsletter that went out at the end of November, again, including a lot of the supporting information to share with people about this effort. And then finally, we have prepared for the actual filing of the legal documents that would institute this friendly condemnation action. And so pending the board's decisions here tonight, the town attorney has been working with our staff to prepare to file the official documents, send all of the appropriate documentation to the various owners and to the lien holders in Pebble Beach. And we're prepared to do that sometime after this meeting later in December if the board chooses to move forward with an action here tonight. Lastly, we included this item on the agenda again here tonight on December the 14th, on December the 9th, so that we could provide another opportunity for people to comment and to share their concerns with you. So want to make sure that we are being completely transparent with everyone involved in this, and pleased to have the board considering this here at the public meeting tonight. As we talked a lot at your meeting on October the 14th, I believe this is a win-win-win-win situation for everyone. I think it's a great opportunity for the town of Emerald Isle, a great opportunity for the fire department to improve and enhance their services. Certainly going to aid many people living and visiting along the Coast Guard Road corridor and in other parts of Emerald Isle as well. I also think it's a good opportunity for Pebble Beach. It provides an opportunity for them to make productive use of that land and secure some additional resources to improve their community, subject to the wishes of their membership and their board of directors going forward. So those are the steps that we've taken since we last spoke about this on October the 14th. The three items that you have for your consideration tonight, the first one is a resolution increasing the just compensation deposit for friendly condemnation at 9201 Coast Guard Road. As I mentioned earlier, I am recommending that the board consider increasing the compensation by an additional $50,000 in recognition of the efforts made by Pebble Beach in the spirit of cooperation and partnership with Pebble Beach. That resolution also reaffirms the board's decision to proceed with the friendly condemnation process. If you adopt this resolution, as I mentioned, we will be sending all of the official legal actions. We'll be filing everything with the courts. We'll be sending all of the official documentation to all the owners and lien holders later this month. Once that occurs, and that's also the date we will deposit the $1,305,000, if so authorized. Once that occurs, any property owner, any person in standing will have the opportunity to answer that complaint and essentially file an objection, whether that be over the dollar amount of just compensation provided, whether that be pertaining to the process or the need for a fire station, whatever reason someone may have. At the end of that 120-day period, we would expect that the town would then take ownership of this land, obviously depending on the substance of any answers that are filed and any decisions by the judge. But we have worked very cooperatively and in partnership with Pebble Beach to do this in a way that I think is good for all parties concerned. We've certainly followed all the appropriate legal procedures, so have high confidence that when the 120-day period ends, that we'll move forward with this. As we talked about at your October the 14th meeting, this is the first step in this process. As you all know, and as many in the audience may know, the town's been pursuing a location for a new fire substation in the western part of Emerald Isle for the last 3-4 years or so, even going back a little further than that. If the town acquires this tract of land, it will provide an opportunity for the town to do that at some point in the future. And we've gone through a lot of explanation about why we think this is a great location for that, how it will benefit the most people in our community, property owners, residents, visitors. But those decisions about the timing of when that fire station is constructed and exactly what it will look like, exactly how it will be situated on the property, those would all be forthcoming in the future. And the board will consider those things. Certainly we'll need to consider the details of the design. Certainly we need to consider the financial implications associated with everything. So that's all coming. This step right now is simply to acquire the land, give the town the ability to move forward in the future with a new fire station, which has been a high priority for the town for the last several years. A little bit about the cost. Our intent is to finance the acquisition cost, the $1,305,000. Depending on the exact terms of that financing instrument, we expect that the annual debt service payment would be somewhere in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. We expect that's the equivalent of about a quarter of a cent to a third of a cent on the tax rate. That impact would not occur until fiscal 26-27, and that's something we'll certainly be talking about as we begin the budget planning process for fiscal 26-27 and beyond. And then again, as I mentioned, the board will need to thoughtfully consider the details, the scope, the timing of any new fire station to be constructed at that location. So that's kind of the main item for your consideration is that resolution. Again, reaffirming your previous decision and also increasing the just compensation amount. The two other items that are presented for your consideration are really just procedural in nature. The first one is a general fund budget amendment. It simply recognizes the $1,305,000 from installment financing proceeds that we are planning to pursue and authorizes it for the purchase of this land. The other item that you have for your consideration, it's a resolution declaring official intent to reimburse expenditures with debt proceeds. And this is really just a procedural item and because of the timing. So if the board authorizes us to go forward with this, sometime later this month, we will deposit a check with the courts for $1,305,000. We would utilize the town's fund balance, our idle cash reserves, and then at some point in the spring, we would be coming back to you with a proposed installment financing agreement, perhaps a 10-year term, perhaps a 15-year term, depending on what interest rates are. Thankfully, hopefully they're going down a little bit tomorrow, so hopefully we'll be in a little better spot. So that's a procedural item, very common and something that we've done many times in the past and many communities do just because of the timing of everything. So gives us, it's an IRS requirement, it gives us the ability to reimburse ourselves for the cash that we spend on the land purchase. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the items for consideration tonight. If you have any questions about the actual specifics of the land and the plans for the future fire station, happy to answer that also. Chief Mathias is here as well. He's happy to answer any questions you may have about fire operations or the future plans. And also Rich Coates, the president of the Homeowners Association for Pebble Beach, is here as well if you have questions for him. Look forward to your discussion.
Thank you, sir. I'll first turn it over to the board for any questions for Mr. Rush and then discussion amongst yourselves after that. But we'll start with any outstanding questions for Mr. Rush.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a few questions
Sure.
I'd like to, and this, I'd like to, Frank, I'd just like to ask you some clarifying questions for the sake of public transparency, because it seems to have been a concern around this project. And so I'm going to just read these questions, and then you can follow through with an answer. You've kind of touched on them already throughout your dialogue now, but just I'm highlighting these because I really want emphasis on that what these situation is and that we're being transparent with it. And a friendly condemnation, that's a unique term. And so with that, can we explain what a friendly condemnation means and how this cooperative process differs from a more adversarial eminent domain or adverse possession of a condemnation? And then second, the compensation amount was increased to reflect debris cleanup by Pebble Beach. And can staff briefly explain how that updated value was determined, the $50,000? Sure. And then the third question would be, please outline for the residents how the town is advancing the deposit now and then reimbursing itself through installment financing in the spring. And I just want to ensure that the community understands that this is a fiscally responsible and transparent process. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to answer those questions. So the term friendly condemnation is used because we, as we've discussed in the past, we are pursuing this completely in a cooperative partnership with the Pebble Beach Homeowners Association Board of Directors. Initially, when we started considering different sites and having discussions about acquiring land, initial conversations centered on a traditional negotiated purchase. And we determined that there was strong interest from the Pebble Beach Homeowners Association for potential purchase of the land by the town. Because of the nuances of condominium law, during the course of the discussions, we shifted to using the friendly condemnation process. And really, the condemnation process, it is the same legal condemnation process, eminent domain, that you often hear about in a negative connotation. This is a friendly condemnation because it's been pursued in full cooperation and in partnership with the owners of the property. And you sometimes see local governments take that approach if there's a practical reason to move forward with the eminent domain process, assuming that folks are cooperative and agree to that. So because the Homeowners Association Board of Directors was in unanimous agreement to move forward with this sale, we talked about that. We brought in the attorneys for the Pebble Beach Homeowners Association. Obviously, the town attorney was involved, and decided to pursue the friendly condemnation approach that's being considered here again this evening. So personally, I don't like eminent domain or condemnation, and honestly would not have pursued this action and brought it forward for board consideration if there was not such a strong level of support and unanimous support among the 7 members of the Pebble Beach Homeowners Association. And I just want everyone to know it's been a very cooperative partnership. I appreciate the spirit of cooperation exhibited by everyone involved in this. Having said that, there are 228 unit owners there, so there certainly are some individual unit owners that have expressed concerns and perhaps don't agree with this, but the vast majority of folks appear to be in support of this, and certainly the full 7 members of the board of directors.
Frank, were they notified by certified mail?
Yeah, we sent certified letters in late October to all of the unit owners, and we'll be sending them an additional mailing sometime here later this month as well. The second part of your question, the $50,000 adjustment. So if you, and a copy of the appraisal is in your packet, but if you look at the appraisal, it came back with a dollar amount of $1,305,000. And there was several pieces of debris on the property that the town would acquire. A lot of it was like landscape timbers and various things that had accumulated over the years. And so the appraiser realized that there was a cost associated with the town's removal of that debris. So in the appraisal, he assigned a $50,000 reduction. That brought it down to the bottom line of the $1,255,000. Because Pebble Beach had heard some concerns about that, they took it upon their own initiative to clean up the property. I told them I supported that action. They completed that process, and what I suggested to them is in the spirit of cooperation, I will recommend to the board that they increase the just compensation by $50,000. That's how that came about. That's part of the resolution for your consideration this evening. And then the third question had to do with reimbursing these initial expenditures with debt proceeds. Yeah, it's a fairly common tool for local governments, just depending on the timing. Obviously, it takes some time to organize the installment financing agreement. We'll probably go through that process, probably start it after the first of the year and then complete that process sometime this spring. But we'll secure quotes from different lending institutions, get the best interest rate, the best terms, et cetera. All of those actions will come back to the Board of Commissioners for your review at the appropriate time. Certainly, I would expect we'd complete that no later than June 30th and probably sooner than that. So.
And that'll be at our budget workshop too.
Yeah, we'll certainly, if the board moves forward, well, I think regardless of what the board decides, we'll certainly be discussing a future fire station along Coast Guard Road as part of the budget workshop meeting. If you don't move forward, we'll certainly have more conversations about acceptable sites or potential acceptable sites. If you do move forward, we'll start the conversation about building a new fire station. Primarily, when would you like to do this? And considering the overall financial implications for the town budget going forward. So absolutely be talking about these things at the budget planning workshop.
And I appreciate the package too. You put together very thorough and well prepared. It's great information there. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, Frank. Anyone else? Excuse me. All right, we have 3 suggested motions, so I'll pass it back before, actually, if no one else has any questions for Frank. Any discussion among the board members before we ask for the first of 3 suggested motions? So I'm going to turn it back over to the board for discussion and/or motions.
I think it's in the packet. I think it's a great idea. Good job, Frank, putting all this together. I know you've been negotiating hard for this, and we've been trying to get this for a long time. I don't see any issues.
Yeah, I've said on this board, we've been searching for land. 3 or 4 spots have opened up. We thought we could get there, and they've always fallen through. So to get this close and to hear the needs that the fire department needs and just the response time to get to the end of Coast Guard Road in the middle of the summer, this is life-saving for residents, for visitors. This is a huge, huge thing that we're doing tonight. It's very, very important. It's not just a benefit of a pretty new fire station. This is life-saving. So I'm in full support of this.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I think setting aside the cost even, you couldn't find a better location for exactly what it is that we want to do. And it's a win-win-win-win. I think there's at least 5 wins in this. So good job, Frank, on putting this all together. And I think, as you said, there are a handful of folks that aren't necessarily happy with the outcome, but the vast majority are. And that's kind of what we're here to do, is do the most good for the most people. So I support it.
Thanks, sir.
I myself haven't received any negative comments toward the 3rd fire station. There's been some concern about, transparency, and when a town goes into closed session to discuss real estate, that is a privilege enabled by the state statutes. And so I think it's been a very transparent and forthright process when it was time to introduce it, when we were ready to move forward. So I think it's been well handled. Thank you. Good job on that.
Thanks, sir.
I realize that there are some outstanding questions with a few in the community, as there would be with any large construction project like this will become. I am grateful that we've secured the property, or at least are in the securing stages of this property, because it's desperately needed. And again, as Mark said, it saves lives. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. I don't believe that there's any hurdle that we'll encounter that we can't overcome.
Thank you. All right, unless anybody has anything else, I'll ask for the...
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution increasing the just compensation deposit for friendly condemnation of property at 9201 Coast Guard Road.
All right, Mayor Brownlow with the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried 5-0. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't understand why, if it's so life-saving and important, I can see why it would be very friendly negotiation at that amount of money, but I don't understand why eminent domain doesn't come in there as far as protecting the community.
Eminent domain and friendly condemnation are kind of synonymous, I'm sorry. And as Mr. Rush explained just a few minutes ago, yeah.
One doesn't involve money, and one does.
Well, be happy to discuss it with you outside the meeting. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mayor Holland, just very briefly. So whether a town acquires property via a traditional negotiated purchase, or whether or not it uses eminent domain, we still have to provide fair compensation for that. So either approach that we take, we have to provide fair, just compensation to the owner of the property. So we don't secure property for free in any event. We have to provide just compensation for that. So if that's helpful.
Thank you. All right.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
A motion to adopt the general fund budget amendment.
All right, Commissioner Taylor with the second motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried 5-0. One more to go.
Motion to adopt the resolution directing
Declaring official.
declaring, thank you, the official reimbursement.
All right, Commissioner Sanderson with the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that motion is also carried. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move forward later this month, and we'll keep you updated as we go forward.
Thank you, sir. Let's see here. Burton, you have something for me, please?
Yeah, we did. That's just in the package. That's from October 14th. No, we're good. Jay, will you join me up front, please? Sure.
Excuse me. Jay, good to see you again. Thank you very much. Jay Wootten has served as a commissioner for the town of Emerald Isle from 2023 to 2025. So I want to take this time on behalf of the town of Emerald Isle to proudly present this certificate of appreciation to Jay Wootten in sincere recognition of your tireless dedication and leadership serving the town of Emerald Isle. Commissioner for the town of Emerald Isle, December 2023 through December 2025. Presented in great appreciation for your dedication and loyalty in serving the citizens of this town and your foresight in planning for the future while preserving our past. Presented this 9th day of December 2025. A sincere, heartfelt thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chief.
Commissioner Taylor, please. A sincere and heartfelt thanks and debt of gratitude to Commissioner Mark Taylor. Mark has served the town in the commissioner role from 2017 to 2025, with the last two also serving as Mayor Pro-Tem. The town of Emerald Isle proudly presents this certificate of appreciation to Mark Taylor in sincere recognition of your tireless dedication and leadership serving the town of Emerald Isle. Commissioner for the town of Emerald Isle, December 2017 through December 2025. Presented in great appreciation for your dedication and loyalty in serving the citizens of this town and your foresight in planning for the future while preserving our past. Presented this 9th day of December 2025. A great thank you to you as well, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask for any comments from Commissioner Taylor and Commissioner Wootten. Mr. Taylor.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank my wife and my daughter and son back there. It's, as most of you know, when you're in a position like this, you go home sometimes, and sometimes you're happy and you're jumping up and you're really good, and then sometimes you need somebody to talk it out to. So thank you for being patient with me for the last 8 years, and thanks for enjoying the joyful moments also. I really appreciate that, and let me run for 2 terms. It's been amazing. I love this town so much. I love the people. It's just, and the regret that I have, sometimes it's been a battle back and forth. And I'll share something with you. When it was time to go and decide if you want to run again, I drove all the way to Beaufort, and I was sitting in the parking lot deciding whether I wanted to walk in or not, calling multiple friends, talking about it and stuff. But you have to decide. There's a time and a place, and I truly enjoyed it. It's been amazing, and thank you for trusting in me. Thank you for believing in me. Thanks for your support for the last 8 years. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I'm truly going to miss it. And the staff that you've got, this town staff, you've got to support them. And the new commissioners coming in and the new mayor, that's what it's all about. If you can keep that staff, keep them healthy, keep them strong, support them in every way you can, they're going to support the citizens. They're going to take care of the people that we're trying to be out there with. So just enjoy what you got. There's so many people that want to be here, and we're such a lucky small group to have what we have. So thank you for believing in me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we're
Mr.
standing.
Wooten, you're up, sir.
I guess we're standing up, all right? I love this town. It has been a tremendous privilege and honor to serve for the last 2 years. I learned a lot about what really makes this town so great, and it's all of you people here. It's all the people that we work for. It's a great town staff. It really has been amazing. I've learned so much. I want to thank everybody, a lot of people in this room that I learned a lot from and got a lot of help from over the course of the last 2 years. And I'm very hopeful and optimistic for the future for my colleagues and the new folks joining the board, that this is a great town. I love this place, and I expect really good things for it going forward. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Personally, thank you gentlemen both. As we know, it's not easy and not always fun, but I appreciate both of your service very, very much. Thank you. All right. Item 16 will be the installation of our new mayor and town commissioners. This time I'd like to invite Carteret County Board of Commissioners Chair Kris Chadwick and Cape Carteret Mayor Will Baker up to the front. And I'd also like to invite our newly elected officials and their families up to the front of the room for our swearing in. Mr. Chadwick, there's a hot microphone over by the podium there, and our clerk will be happy to assist you, I'm sure. Yes, sir. Sorry. Yes.
I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith.
and the Constitution and
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor in the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor in the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina.
And that I will not allow my actions as mayor to be influenced by personal, political friendships, or obligations, so help me God.
And that I will not allow my actions as a mayor to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations, so help me God.
All right, thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chadwick, and welcome, Kyle. Congratulations to you. All right, next up will be the oath of office to commissioners. Mayor Baker. You have 3. I'll let you pick the order, sir. All right. See, if we're going by last name, I guess that'd be me next.
I state your name.
I, Jason Holland,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith, that I will faithfully discharge
not inconsistent therewith, that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office as a commissioner for the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina,
the duties in my office as Commissioner for the town of North Carolina,
and that I will not allow my actions as a commissioner
and I will not allow my actions as Commissioner
to be influenced by personal or political friendships
to be influenced by personal or political friendships
or obligations, so help me God.
or obligations, so help me God. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Sign that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't have to hold that, do you? Yes, you do. You got to hold the mic and the Bible, sir. I don't know so you can see it.
Thank you.
Okay. I state your name.
I, Kris Plum,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as a Commissioner
for the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina,
for the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina,
and that I will not allow any of my actions as a commissioner
and that I will not allow any of my actions as a Commissioner
to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations,
to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you want a copy.
Well, you can double duty if you'd like, sir. Thank you so
There you
much. All right. Are you ready? I say.
I, Alesia Sanderson,
I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as Commissioner for the town of Emerald Isle,
as Commissioner for the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina,
and that I will not allow my actions as a Commissioner
and that I will not allow my actions as a Commissioner
to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations.
to be influenced by personal friendships or obligations, so help me God.
Well, thank you. Congratulations.
All right, almost to the break. Item 16D would be the nomination and appointment of Mayor Pro-Tem. I checked records from 2 years ago just to make sure we did it the right way, according to the December 2023 minutes.
You'll let the two new commissioners come up here and we'll.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry.
Let's do that.
All right, two new commissioners and a mayor. You get my chair, your chair. Kris, which one would you like? You pick and I'll sit in the other one. How about that? Is that fair enough?
Wonderful chair.
Take care.
Congratulations.
Mayor.
You stopped him at sentence, Jason. I think you should keep going.
Now the fun part begins.
Right.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. All right. So as I think Jason was about to say, next up is the election of the new Mayor Pro Tem. This is a nominated position that is solidified by a roll call vote. And so we will now conduct the roll call vote for Mayor Pro Tem. Commissioner Sanderson, would you like to begin with your nomination?
I nominate Commissioner Jason Holland as Mayor Pro Tem due to his experience with the procedural policies in these meetings, as well as the most experienced sitting elected official.
Okay, great. Commissioner Sawyer?
Yeah, so we need to.
Do we need to just?
We need to take
have
nominations and then we can roll call.
And then roll call?
We're going to open the floor for nominations.
Open.
And once that has subsided,
Okay.
then we will go through the roll call.
Okay. Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Kris Plum. Emerald Isle traditionally and historically has allowed or honored the top vote getter by representing the will of the people as the Mayor Pro Tem. And that changed recently, and I don't know why, but it did. And so I'd like to get back to that tradition and let the will of the people represent who the Mayor Pro Tem would be versus the will of the board saying who the person would be, the Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Now, is it appropriate to call for the roll call vote?
Yes, Mayor, it is.
Okay. Commissioner Sanderson, would you like to begin?
Commissioner Holland.
Commissioner Holland.
Commissioner Plum.
Commissioner Holland.
I am honored to be nominated, and although I'm not, obviously you already know the vote, but here's what I'd like to say. In my professional career, I've resided over numerous government meetings and numerous senior level executive meetings. There's no doubt in my mind that I could preside over a meeting in the mayor's absence. And Kyle and I will be attending the UNC School of Government in January, which teaches civic procedure. So with that being said, I'm confident that I could have done the job, and I'm voting for myself.
Okay, so it looks like we have a majority. So Commissioner Holland, congratulations. You'll be the next Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Baker, will you do the honors to give him the oath?
Deja vu. You can hold that. No, I'll hold this for you. All right. Hi, Jason.
I, Jason Holland,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the laws and Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office
as Mayor Pro Tem for the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina,
as Mayor Pro Tem for the town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina,
and that I will not allow my actions as a Mayor Pro Tem
and that I will not allow my actions as Mayor Pro Tem
to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations.
to be influenced by personal friendships or political obligations.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Baker, once again, and congratulations again, Commissioner Holland. We are now going to have a quick social break for about 15 minutes, and then we'll continue on with our agenda for the evening.
Just hold it for like 1 second.
I always have trouble.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, I'll continue to practice projecting. Sound better? Okay, so now we'll call this meeting back to order. That projected, okay.
That woke everybody up.
So I believe now we need to have another roll call. So Ms. Lindsey.
Mayor Legos,
Here.
Mayor Pro-Tem Holland,
Here.
Commissioner Brownlow,
Present?
Commissioner Plum,
Here.
Commissioner Sanderson,
Here.
Commissioner Sawyer.
Here.
Okay, so next up on the agenda is the consent agenda. Can we have a motion to approve, or is there any discussion even?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sawyer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so Mr. Taylor will be giving us a presentation. He's the chair of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. So if you will, Mr. Taylor, take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations to all the re-elected and duly elected members of council.
Mr. Taylor, if you could cut your mic on, please.
Thank you. I am chair of the Bike and Pedestrian Committee, and it's your committee because you appoint all of us, and the Bike and Pedestrian Committee has been around for 22 years. It was first appointed in 2003, and our mission really is to promote the bike path and promote safety on it. One of our main projects, big projects, is Bike the Banks. I hope you're familiar with that. We just had our 10th annual. The 11th annual will be the first Saturday in May, which I believe is the second. I have registration cards here for you if you folks would like to register for the 50-mile ride, of course. I know none of you would sign up for the 10-mile fun ride, but that is one of our major projects. Tonight, I do bring to you several recommendations from your committee, and we believe those recommendations will increase the use of the path and at the same time enhance safety. And you cannot increase usage without looking at safety. To do that would be very reckless. I do have a very brief slide presentation, and your committee, and go to the second slide. The recommendations tonight, to begin with, as we look at safety, if you're familiar with the path, you realize there's a stop sign on every street. Sometimes we kind of think there might be a stop sign on private driveways. There are lots of them. And one of the things that we have through Candace Dooley, who's Parks and Recreation Director, working with the manager, town manager Rush, is to start removing stop signs and replacing most of them with yield signs. Now, we have recommended that the stop signs at major intersections where the path cuts across major streets, that they remain. And we believe reducing the number of stop signs, it really is twofold. One, it will increase the emphasis on the really busy streets, because after you've seen 50 stop signs riding on the path, you may just stop ignoring them and putting up a yield sign, which quite frankly is what most of us do anyway. I'm a bike rider. I'll be the first to admit I do not stop at those stop signs, but I always look to the right or whichever direction I need to look. And so we believe doing that will increase and enhance safety. The other thing that we have recommended to the manager is to, on the bottom of the stop signs for vehicles, because safety on the path is a twofold. It's the bike and it's the automobile. And we need the drivers to be a little more aware of what's going on there. And so what we have suggested is that on the bottom of the stop sign for the motorist, that it says, be nice, stop twice. Because as you well know, when you pull up to the first stop sign, which is in front of the path, that's too far back for a motorist to be able to look right or left and be able to pull out safely. So they really have to stop twice. Well, in all reality, they usually stop once. So we believe putting a little reminder on the bottom of that first stop sign that will increase their awareness of this. The other thing that we are doing from a safety standpoint is to work with the realty companies to get them some handouts that they can provide for people who rent through them, and use those during the year's handout to increase information and people that are coming here. Those are not items that you will need to change any ordinance about, but I do, representing the committee, want to make well, at least one recommendation that you will need to take a look at. If you go to the website, what glares is this bold statement that no motorized apparatus is allowed on the path. And tonight we are advocating that you consider changing that. When the construction began on the path, which is named after Commissioner Sanderson, rightfully so, e-bikes didn't exist. I mean, literally, you didn't really hear of e-bikes. They were came into being in the late 80s and early 90s, but they were so expensive you really didn't see very many e-bikes. But like everything, as they have gotten more economical, and in fact, if you'd like an e-bike, you can get one at Walmart for $349. That's a 250 watt motor. So they become really inexpensive. Something like 12 million bikes were sold in America in 24. 1 out of 12 of those was an e-bike. Almost 1 million e-bikes were sold. So what we're dealing with now on the path really didn't even exist when the path was created. The other thing about the path, and the reason that we're recommending that you drop the statement that no motorized apparatus are allowed on the path, is frankly, there are so many other types of motorized apparatus that we see on the path. You see one-wheelers, you see scooters, you see electric motors on skateboards. And quite frankly, as we sit here tonight, there is no telling what somebody inventor is coming up with, an idea that will create some kind of personal electronic device, transport device. And so our recommendation tonight for you to consider is to forget the concept about an e-bike. When we started our conversation, we've got a couple of our committee members here, and I will introduce them when I finish. We started a conversation about how do we define a bike. In fact, we thought our recommendation to the town attorney would be you need to change the definition of a bicycle to where it could be pedal assisted and have a motor. We're not recommending tonight that you change the definition of a bike. What we are recommending is, and we believe that this will cover the one-wheelers and the scooters and the skateboards and whatever else we haven't seen yet. And there are three things, the way we think you can cover this. The first thing is that you allow motorized apparatus on the path, electric, not gas, and that the electric motor be no bigger than 750 watts. The second thing we are recommending is, and if you look at the information about the path, I think it says the speed limit is recommended or suggested at 10 miles an hour. But there is no set speed limit on the path. We are recommending that you set a maximum speed limit of 12 miles an hour. Now, you say, well, why 12? Well, frankly, we thought 10 was too slow and 15 was too fast. And we also thought 12 is kind of a more memorable number. It's kind of tweener. The bike rider may be asking the same question, why 12? And then the third recommendation is that you limit these personal transport vehicles or apparatus to a single user, one person on them. And if you look at those three criteria that I've just outlined, you don't have to define an e-bike, you don't have to redefine a bike, and it would cover the scooter, it would cover the skateboard, it would cover the one-wheeler, and it would cover anything that we're not quite aware of that may be used. We are a far cry from when the path was first created, as far as the amount of traffic that's on it and the types of different apparatus that you see. I don't know where, Mr. Manager, I may be creating something that you never said, and if not, and you like it, you can take credit for it. But it was something to the effect that the path was maybe one of the best public works projects you had ever seen in a municipality, in a community. And it is. All you have to, I live in Cape Emerald, and I can't go anywhere without riding right beside the path. And in the summer, it's a little like an interstate. Tremendous amount of traffic. Walking and just bicycles and all kinds of things. We do understand and appreciate the need for safety on it, but we think that the town should have a policy that is reflective of what's actually happening on that. So if you limit the size of the motor to 750 watts, you set a speed limit of 12 miles an hour, and you pass an ordinance that also says single user apparatus, we believe that will cover at least the near future of what may be out there to use the path. And I would entertain any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Any questions or feedback from the board?
I have a question for you. How did you decide on what you wanted to change? Did you base it on something that's happening in another community that's similar to ours, or how did you come up with these recommendations?
It's a good question, and it's twofold, really. Number one, we did look at other municipalities, particularly towns that have a bike path. Not everybody has the path that we have. So we looked at communities that had bike paths and looked at their ordinances, and frankly, they were defining a bike, that they were focusing on an e-bike. The other thing was that almost all of us on the committee use the path. And we are really just talking about what we see that's on the path right now. And we believe that ordinances should reflect the reality that exists. And the reality that exists is there's a lot of different apparatus that are using it. So we looked at what other communities were doing, municipalities, and we also looked at what was actually happening on our path.
Okay, thank you. That was good.
Mr. Taylor, did you committee discuss about how this would be enforced?
The chief of police is right. We're not in the enforcement business. So I would defer to the chief, who is aware of what we were recommending and who meets with us on occasion. And we kind of engaged him about a year ago when we first started talking about it. And we've actually been talking about this for about a year, about, what do we recommend so we think that what's happening on the path is actually reflected in the ordinance. So.
We'll do the best we can to enforce it the best way we can. Obviously, I don't have the staff to dedicate to running radar on the bike path.
And checking motor size?
Right. So staff will do their best to enforce it, especially if we, witness, what we would refer to as careless and reckless behavior.
And I'd like to ask the attorney, what's the town's liability if it allows higher motorized vehicles on this path?
Well, I think that would have to be seen on a case-by-case basis, and, I mean, I guess what I could say is if you look at Chapter 11, Article 5 is where we currently have our laws related to this. I would really have to see specifically what is being mentioned and proposed before I could comment too much more.
Okay, when we look into this some more, if you don't mind getting some information on that, please.
Absolutely, and I think depending on your all's position on this and how much you want to revise Article 5, or just, I guess, Chapter 11 in general, because skateboards, as mentioned, are not currently allowed on the path at all. So it would be somewhat of a upheaval of what we currently have, so I need
I mean, I've gotten a lot of complaints about speeding on back roads right now on the regular roads, much more or less now enforced and monitoring a bike path. So it's a tough one.
Well, I do think, am I able to just comment, or do I have to?
Absolutely.
Okay,
You're the mayor.
good.
Say whatever you want.
So, I mean, I do think keeping the language that it's an individual electric device is definitely key. I mean, we see them all the time, going up and down. So I think that's definitely key if we continue this conversation. Yeah.
I have another question, Mr. Taylor. Did you or the committee give any thought to some kind of directional signs? Like, do people need to stay right past left? What does that look like? Because that could get dicey.
We have gone under the assumption that I think we picked up from previous councils that too many signs present, a visual, something that, people really don't want to see a lot of signs on the path. The speed limit, we believe, could be easily painted on the path, maybe every block or something like that. It would not be a visual impediment. The other signs, if you go back and look online, there are some guidelines about keeping right, keeping left. We're not sure that the path was really wide enough to put a line down the middle. So we don't think that would be an appropriate way to do that. And again, there is some language online about that. To be quite honest with you, I doubt if very many people look at it. But I think most people do adhere to the right, left. As a bike rider, if I could get you to outlaw earbuds, I might suggest that, because as a bike rider, when you come up to somebody and say on your right or on the left, they're never going to hear you anyway, because they're listening to something else. But
I think part of your efforts will be educating our visitors, and you had said you were going to partner with the different agencies, so I think that'll be key. I walk on that path. Everybody is, for the most part, respectful, and they tell you when they're going to pass. So I think it's just education.
And I think that what you just pointed out addresses and speaks to the issue about, well, how are you going to enforce speed limit? I truly believe that 9 out of 10 people, bike riders or whatever apparatus they're on, will adhere to the speed limit. I don't know that you can pass a law that will get 100%, but I do think most people, just as you said, are courteous on the path. So I think that'll take care of a lot of that.
Thank you.
Is there an age limit for motorized vehicles? Got to be 16 to drive what size voltage?
Oh, but not electric bikes. Do you have to be 16?
No, for the electric bikes in the presentation. It was
Oh,
16,
okay.
correct?
Okay.
Yes.
The
I believe there's language in the ordinances that are out there, as well as some pamphlets that were done some time ago that were distributed to all of the real estate companies. They were shared at the visitor center, and it was essentially explaining the pedestrian and bicyclist, stay right, stay left.
Right.
So I think that's easily addressed, and as Kris said, it's just a matter of education again, and getting that educational material out there. And with the 25,000 you got tonight, there should be some nice flyers available.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, even though I didn't get to take the check home.
It won't fit in your pocket.
It wouldn't fit in my pocket. The signage, and I was talking about reducing most of the stop signs, turning them into yield signs, and adding that stop twice, the be nice twice sign, they will be paid for by a bike and pedestrian fund. So it's not like, that we're going to spend taxpayer dollars on those signs. They will be paid for by our treasurer, our budget is how they will be covered.
I've only got one question, so I'm totally in agreement with the changing it to motorized vehicles. The stop signs versus the yield signs, the only thing that does concern me is young children. Because a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old stop is one of the first things they learn versus yield. So I guess my question is, if a family came down, 3-year-olds ride down the bike path the year before we had stop signs, and then the next year we changed those to yield signs, and there was an incident, what's the liability of that?
I mean, in that sort of instance, there always could be liability. Once again, case-by-case basis of what all happened, what was seen, where the sign was. Hard to tell just
Right.
hypothetically,
Yeah.
but I can certainly see that being a concern.
That would be my only concern, is just signage and young children understanding it.
I support the whole concept that you've presented with, if we could get some more clarity from town council on the liabilities that we would face. I think they're great ideas, and I applaud the Bike and Pedestrian Committee for the forward thinking and trying to deal with what's actually going on the bike path.
Maybe also facing the stop signs, have some sort of message that bikes and pedestrians have the right of way. So they are more aware of those crosswalks as well. I know most metropolitan areas, pedestrians have the right of way. So maybe just a reiteration of that as well. Be helpful.
Frank, who would be responsible for installing lighting on the bike path? Like, there's still some real dark areas out there, and I know that came up a couple of years ago when I first came on board, and I remember hearing about it even before I came on board as commissioner about the bike path needing lighting on it.
Yeah, so we occasionally will add additional lights on the bicycle path, and that's something that we've historically handled administratively if a request is made and if there's funds available and it's warranted. The spacing in the area basically between Loon Drive, the Emerald Plantation, and the Visitor Center up at East Seaview, spacing on those lights is actually pretty good right now. We actually had a request we reviewed not too long ago, and it was going to be tough to fit more lights in there without kind of lighting it up like a runway. We put some reflectors out there to try to make it a little easier to see. But to answer your question directly, that's something that we could certainly consider doing administratively. If the board would like us to pursue that, we can work on a proposal for you. But all of these things tonight, really just looking for your general feedback on the ideas that Mr. Taylor is recommending from the committee. It sounds like you're generally supportive of the recommendations that the committee's made, and we'll work on implementing those going forward, and then also bring you the appropriate decision points to make, particularly with regard to the legal risks associated with the signs.
That'd be my only feedback. One, excuse me, Commissioner Brownlow actually seemed like we were very much on the same page on that. As one, what kind of an extra lift, if any, from an enforcement standpoint. I don't own or ride a motorized vehicle like that, but I also have no issue with them. I see them up and down the bike path all the time, so they're there already. From a liability standpoint, that part is kind of concerning, and obviously we have information to receive yet. I don't have an issue with it as long as it limits the liability to the town. I'm not one for too much government. I'm not one for someone telling everybody, or telling someone what they can and can't do every time they turn left, turn right. But with that being said, we're responsible for doing what's good for the town as a whole and protecting that town against any unnecessary liability. I'm not opposed to the changes, but would love that feedback a little bit more from an enforcement standpoint, but most importantly, any projected liability that we could expose the town to.
And I can just say generally, purely governmental acts are subject to immunity. So something like stop signs, yield signs, that is purely within our domain. So we could not be sued for something like that. It then goes into saying, well, we need to make sure these signs are conspicuously posted, make sure there's maybe, you see in some municipalities, the signs where it says new sign next to where there is a previous change in traffic notifications. So those are the sorts of things that I would be looking for, but this is a purely government act. So immunity would apply to most of what I can think of here. But once again, we would want to work through some details and see what the final proposal would be before I can.
Well, even without signage, if a minor was riding a motorized bike that exceeded the motor size and making a pretty good click down to like 35 miles an hour and clips a pedestrian without, nowhere near a stop sign. And it's because we allowed bigger vehicles and stuff on this road, and there's no really, I don't know. The enforcement, I just envision it being difficult, and just because it's already happening us making it legal doesn't make it right. It's kind of like, all right, lot clearing is already exceeding 35%, so why don't we just make that legal too? So it's like, where does it stop with the increase of golf carts to be next on the path? And who knows?
Well, I can say this, Mr. Brownlow, all bikes are subject to the regular laws of motor vehicles of North Carolina as well. So in the situation that you just postured, typical North Carolina law would apply in terms of if there's injury, insurance, et cetera. Obviously, with a motor vehicle or with a bike that we're describing would not be registered. So that would be a little bit more person-to-person accident related.
And then I heard, possibly hiring, talking about staffing on the police department to do this. And so now we're going to have a path police, possibly. Just an idea, I'm just kind of thinking, because in reality, you're talking about the realities, and I appreciate the work y'all do on the committee and everything, but I'm just having a hard time envisioning the regulatory side of it.
Yeah, one thing I want to be just completely upfront with the board about and the public about, I mean, I certainly don't envision us getting involved in rigid enforcement of these things. It's really more about the public education and the communication of the community's expectations as far as speed limits or the types of equipment and all of those kind of things. So I certainly, our law enforcement officers have many things to focus on in the community. So I don't want to mislead anyone into thinking that we would be actively enforcing these things. We would, however, and I encourage the police department, I'm sure you all would as well, to have positive interactions with people, particularly young people who are violating town regulations. We certainly would continue that going forward. But I think it's really as much about communicating the community's expectations more so than the enforcement piece.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
May I simply, in closing, because I do have a couple of committee members here, and I'd like to introduce them. Tom Bonds is back here, and Maury Gailey is back here. They are your board member, committee members, because you appoint the entire board. The other members are Ken Ambrose, Judy Stark, and Schrott. And well, that's it. And just one final note, some of us had the opportunity, privilege to serve on the committee when the Parks and Recreation director was the woman sitting at the end of your counter up here. And we greatly enjoyed working with Commissioner Sanderson when she was director, and rightfully so, it was named in her honor. We also truly enjoy working with Candace Dooley. She's a great help to our committee, and we appreciate the fact that we have her available to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So we will take the board's feedback and we'll complete the necessary legal research, and then we'll come back to you with appropriate adjustments to the ordinance. If there are things that we can implement these changes strictly within the authority granted to the manager under the ordinance, we'll make those changes and update you on those as well. But we'll bring the significant decisions back to you at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay. Okay, great. So next up, we'll be hearing from Chief Panzarella for an update on the upcoming wildlife management efforts.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Just like to take a few minutes to update you on the deer depredation and coyote trapping, proposed coyote trapping. Some of you may have heard this program referred to as urban wildlife management. This program started many years before me, I think even possibly before Chief Waters. But we'd like to update you on where we are today. The last time we conducted a deer depredation effort was in 2023. So we've not done one since. The one prior to that was 2021, my first year here as your chief of police. And we believe that the only coyote trapping that we can find might have been somewhere around 2016. So in the presentation, you'll see the need for us to maybe explore those options again. Greg, if you'll pull that PowerPoint up, please. So public safety is really the concern. Increased deer and vehicle collisions, deer near residential areas and roads, and population reduction to decrease the risk to motorists. This next slide, you'll see the number of reports our office has taken from 2020 to 2025, along with the number of calls that were actually called into the communication center. As you can see by these two slides, you can see that steady increased trend. In the motor vehicle collisions, you kind of see a kind of up and down. Like I said, we did one in 2021. We did it again in 2023, where we saw a little bit of a rise between 2021 and 2023. And there's been a significant increase in 2025. Some other things we know that play a factor into our determining our need to do this from year to year is the damage to landscaping and gardens, the overbrowsing impacting private vegetation. So by reducing the herd, the size mitigates these recurring issues. The population and habitat management, the population exceeds the habitat capacity, leads to malnutrition and disease risk. We believe, along with best practices, that, you know, if we conduct this hunt, it restores that ecological balance. The protection of sensitive ecosystems. Overcrowding impacts native vegetation and dune systems, reduces the forest regeneration. Again, conducting this depredation hunt would help preserve the biodiversity. Obviously, when you have an overpopulation, you have disease and parasite spreads. Population control, again, improves the overall health of the herd. So, community concerns, ongoing issues with nuisance deer, whether it be the motor vehicle collisions that cost thousands of dollars annually, or, you know, folks, individual properties being damaged, you know, by the deer eating, you know, people's flowers and things such as that. We weigh all that together, and we want to do what best supports the quality of life and expectations. So like I said, consistent with best science practices and following the state guidance for overpopulation control, we conduct a deer count on 2 separate nights. And we provide those numbers. That count has already been done. We provide those numbers to the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission state biologist, who will then issue a depredation permit. I believe just prior to the meeting, Frank sent out the biologist's recommendation. Once that permit is issued, we have from January to the last day of February to conduct that hunt. That hunt is conducted at night, overnight. We only hunt on town-owned properties, and it is done by 2 officers within the department who are trained. They're active bow hunters. We have with them, we have spotters, and we do it in marked patrol vehicles. With the harvested deer, we only harvest the amount that the permit allows. And the deer that is harvested is donated to local organizations to feed the needy, such as Hope Mission. In fact, went by there last week to make contact with them, and they were very thankful that we were considering to do the hunt again this year because obviously it helps them in their efforts to feed those in need. We believe that the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission biologist will issue a permit for the amount of 50 deer, which we feel like would be adequate to bring us back into where we need to be. With that, any questions?
Mike, I know that at one time, I don't recall which one, but one of the processing plants gave us a discounted or a free rate on the processing for the donors that we chose.
Yes,
Will we be able to do that again?
Well, we used to use a processing plant out of Trenton, and back in 2021, we ran into the issue where they were having an issue with a CWD, I believe it's called, with the deer. So they were apprehensive to process. So what our officers do, again, they're experienced hunters. We will field dress the deer, and we will donate the entire deer to Hope Mission, who will continue their processing efforts.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief, of the 50 deer that you feel we'll be hunting, will the majority of that be doe versus buck?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They're I'll get tongue-tied, antlerless deer.
Okay.
So, yes, and so once we take that deer, and when we field dress it, obviously there's a process, we count the fetuses and we record those so that the biologists can see what they project the growth population to be from year to year.
Thank you.
Now on to coyotes. And I have to confess that this is a gray wolf, not a coyote. Of course, when I was putting this presentation together, because I'm a transparent person, and I Googled coyotes, this is what came up. So my sincerest apologies for misrepresenting.
No, that scary creature's not out there.
So coyotes, again, 2016 was the last time we conducted a trapping effort. That was prior to me coming here to Emerald Isle. So coyotes have been new to me, but what we do know is our numbers did not track like we did the deer. We changed some reporting processes. And so we discovered that when we were logging these complaints, animal complaints, it was just going in as an animal complaint. So you would have to go back and break each one of those down, which it's numerous. It's an exhaustive task. So we have definitely refined that and made those corrections. But this year alone, we've received increasing amounts of calls, whether it be at the police department or town hall, regarding aggressive coyote behavior causing fear amongst our residents. When Frank put this out last week ahead of the meeting, we got, a response, and it was based on a study back in 2024 about the response to lethal control of coyotes. So I, in turn, reached out to the state biologist, who is phenomenal. And he said, yes, that is true. If you take coyotes one year, there's a chance that they will produce more the following year. So with that said, we're not the experts in the coyote trapping and or the depredation of those. So what do we know? We know that coyotes prey on domestic animals, and a controlled trapping would reduce the loss and protect property. We also know that coyotes near home create a public fear. It makes people feel uncomfortable. Just tonight, and I think Lieutenant Odom can attest, Fire and EMS responded to a call. Oftentimes, Fire and EMS, when they leave their station, unlike us, leave with their red lights and sirens on. Well, that initiated a response from the coyotes. You began to hear them howl. Okay, so we know that we have coyotes in the area. What we don't know is just exactly how many. Assistant Chief Edwards reached out to the USDA I believe it was in 2023, they came out. They did somewhat of an assessment because obviously they're in the business to make money. They want to be paid. And again, we knew we had a little bit of an issue. We just didn't know how much. So again, the coyotes impact ground nesting and small mammals. And the increased population of the coyotes, again, bring the increased risk of disease. So we feel that a controlled trapping would control the population, protect the wildlife, the domestic pets, and reinstill a safe and normal life for our residents. With that said, in collaboration with Frank, we would like to partner with the U.S. U.S. Department of Agriculture, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Services, and Wildlife Services. We've reached out to them. We have negotiated a contract for the amount of $7,398. Again, we haven't negotiated that contract. That's what their price is to come in. That would be for 14 days worth of work. They would take care of all the trapping on town-owned properties. They would provide the signage, the traps used would be checked every 24 hours. And if a coyote is trapped, it is then euthanized and removed. Again, because of the question raised about the lethal control and the chance of the extra population next year, I would propose us to at least consider having them come in, give us a baseline. It may be that we don't trap any, but we would have a baseline to see just exactly what the coyote population may be here in Emerald Isle. So I think tonight we would be requesting your permission to proceed with that contract, to have them come in and assist us in that trapping effort to determine exactly how many we do have.
Okay, thank you. So, feedback, questions, comments for Chief Panzarella?
Yeah, Chief, what specific disease risks were identified?
You have the risk of rabies is the number one.
Were there any reports in Clark County from rabies from coyotes?
Not that I'm aware of. This is just the information we know happens when you have overpopulation. And the risk of disease or any diseases those animals may carry, whether it's deer or coyote.
And were any non-lethal alternatives evaluated for coyotes?
For coyotes, yes. The traps would be non-lethal. In fact, the traps are they're leg traps. And they're what they refer to as like a humane trap. If a other animal other than a coyote or a human gets caught in it, it's not going to cause damage to them. And again, it simply holds the animal in place and is checked every 24 hours, would be checked every 24 hours by the USDA.
And so, so for the safety of residents and pets, how will the town notify the public about the trapping areas and signage? And then will we receive post-operation summary of the operation when it's completed?
Most definitely, and we would work in conjunction with the USDA. They're going to provide all the signage in the area of the trapping, where the trapping events are occurring, and then we would also put out something in social media and Emerald Tidings about where the trapping is occurring.
And there'll be something like the orange sign or so, I don't know what you did to identify a trap so that someone, like
Correct.
A child playing out there in the park won't step in it or something like that.
And the USDA handles all that, yes.
Thank you.
Chief, is there a way to, like you did with the deer, get a count of what we think we have before we move into trapping and then euthanizing?
Again, I think our numbers are so great. We can certainly try that. I can tell you there have been some sightings, but more so you hear more of the noise of the animal. Again, bringing the USDA in, these trained professionals, They know exactly what to look for, and they would assist us in doing that. So if nothing else, if we enter into this contract, I think it would be ideal to at least get that baseline to see exactly where we're at. It may mean that we don't trap any this season. And what of that money is not used, again, it's for 14 days of work. If they come in and say, well, you really don't have an issue, that money can be rolled over and or used for any other animal issues we may have within the town. Yes, sir.
Could we contract or consult with the USDA to, I know it was 7,000 or some odd dollar, whatever the number was. Is there a lesser dollar amount for them to come in and just do that baseline, come back to us? I mean, they're the professionals, obviously, the experts. I don't know how to count Coyote, but I'm assuming they have a pretty good idea how to do that. Is that something that we could explore before moving forward with A, spending the money, and B, potentially entering into all right, we trap, the traps are non-lethal to people, but the coyote will be euthanized. I'd like to learn a little bit more about that, but I'd also like to know if the USDA could come in and say, before we contract for $7,000, $8,000, come in and say, hey, you have a coyote problem, and these are the numbers on why we think you have a coyote problem, or these are the numbers, they howl when the fire trucks go off, you don't have a problem. I'd love to learn a little bit more about that before we spent the money and went forward with that portion of it.
Sure. I can certainly reach back out to them to see if they can do that. Again, we had this number in place, created the PowerPoint prior to tonight's meeting before the question arose about the lethal control.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us go ahead and proceed with the deer depredation and get some more information on the coyotes and to be brought back to us, because I think that there's a little bit longer season with the coyotes than there is with the January, February months that we have for the deer. And if I'm not mistaken, we generally reach that number, whatever our target number is for the deer, within a week. And I don't expect anything differently this time, so we can concentrate all of our efforts on coyotes right after that.
The education that was sent to me that I reviewed, we're getting into mating season, so, and I think that was January through March. They only have a 60-some day, 63-day gestation period. So I'm thinking it would make sense if we proceed with this to do it after that, after we get some more information. And then secondly, on this work plan, it talks about the opossum, possum. Why would that be part of this plan? Because they are, and this is just my opinion, but I can do more research on it. They are very good critters to have here on the island.
I'm not sure what plan you're referring to.
It's just part of our documents that were given to us in our book, so. Well,
sorry.
we just need to come back to this, I think, after we get some more information.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we would certainly be releasing any possums that were captured, as well as other similar harmless animals, if that's the direction that we go. So, but we can absolutely do some more work on this and bring it back to you. Proceed with the deer depredation if the board's in agreement with that approach.
I'd just like to say this, under $7,000, $900, $7,900 is a lot of money. Coyotes are nocturnal animals. And when we've got them running around in the middle of the daytime, they're extremely comfortable. And I think we should go ahead and jump on this because, you know, you can go on YouTube right now and type in coyotes attacking children. I think getting the population down is probably, I've always said this, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. Any fire truck, police car that goes by, they're howling. They're all over Canal Drive. They're on Sound Drive. They're all down Coast Guard Road. I mean, we've definitely got a coyote problem.
At the boat ramp.
They're at the boat ramp. I've heard them. I've seen them walking around midday. I'm an avid hunter myself. That's not normal. They're way too comfortable. And like I say, you can go on YouTube right now and type in coyotes attacking children. And I think that's something we should go ahead and probably jump on ASAP if we have the opportunity, no matter what, you know, kind of money we're looking at.
From a public safety perspective, $7,900 is not a lot of
Not
money.
a lot of money.
Can I speak?
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
I don't know, if y'all don't want me to, I won't.
No,
I know you don't like me.
Please do. You've always got great information.
Well, I sent the information to you all.
Yes.
I'm the one who, sent the 2024. The bottom line is, not that I'm in love with coyotes, everything that we talked about, the depredation for the deer, all the science backs all that up. But what the science doesn't back up is lethal control of coyotes. Because different from deer, when you take out coyotes, you might end up with a very short-term decrease, but then you end up with a bigger problem than what you started with. So I understand people's fear. I think coyotes are here to stay. They've been in the state of North Carolina since the 30s, and I think on the coast since about the mid-90s. Seeing a coyote is not an emergency. I understand the fears, but I think, one of the concerns we have is the deer population. Well, what do you think helps control the deer population? Fawn depredation was one of the things that we had under coyotes. So I guess just not reacting emotionally and with fear, but with fact-based information, so we don't end up spending the money, which to me is secondary, but then ending up with a bigger problem that we thought we were helping. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Carol.
And one thing that I would like to ask, and just ask the biologist this, 50 does, a doe has usually a buck and a fawn, every two fawns a year. That's 100 fawns that coyotes do hunt, and that's their food source. So what happens when we take those 50 does away? That's 100 fawns a year. Does that, do coyotes get more aggressive when they have less food? When they have to hunt harder?
No.
And that'd just be one of those questions. They don't?
No, based in the research Carol sent, they'll only eat what's available. So if people are doing bird feeders or leaving pet food out, they're just scrounging around.
All that plays into it, yes, I would agree, but I definitely think Commissioner Sawyer, Commissioner Sanderson, I appreciate the support in moving on this now. Let's back up and let's just see if we can get them out here to give us that baseline and maybe readjust the contract price, I think would be the optimal way to go.
Thank you, sir.
But are we in agreement with proceeding with the deer depredation?
Yes.
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
All right, so we will move forward with the deer depredation effort. We'll come back to you in January with some more information on coyotes, and hopefully, notwithstanding the holidays, hopefully we can get the feedback we need over the holiday period, but we'll come back in January.
Thank you,
sir.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you so much.
Okay, agenda item number 22. I mean, another round at roll call appointments. Okay, so,
So Mayor, if I may just jump in real quick. So just to clarify, we will have open nomination, then we will close nomination. Then I would suggest that we just do one spot at a time. So we'll do roll call for spot 1, roll call for spot 2, just for simplicity's sake.
if I have it drafted another way. Okay.
Well, then you can do it that way. You can do it all 2 at a time and just make sure we keep track of.
Okay, let's see. Let's try it out. Okay, all right. So first, we will need 2 appointments to the commission, 2 commissioner appointments to the audit committee, and then 1 to the general board of the Eastern Carolina Council of Governments. But before we make those nominations and appointments, Frank was open to giving us a brief summary so we know what we're getting into.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Lagos, Commissioners. So as just an additional level of oversight for the board over the town's finances, we've used an audit committee for the past several years, typically the mayor and 2 commissioners. Typically, the group meets once or twice per year. Usually, they meet and get a preview of the annual audit before it comes to the Board of Commissioners for your full review. We're a little bit behind schedule this year, so we're going to bring you the audit report at the January meeting. We think we're in good shape going forward, so no issues that we know of now. But in order to have the audit committee meet to review that prior to the January meeting, we would like for you to appoint the members of the audit committee this evening. The 2 members are currently no longer board members going forward. So 2 of you to meet with that, to be appointed to that. The Eastern Carolina Council Governments, it's a regional council of government. There are, I believe, 16 of these agencies across North Carolina. They are regional levels of government. Our agency is pretty much Eastern North Carolina from about Goldsboro down to the coast and the surrounding counties. They provide a lot of different services, in all honesty, more focused on human service type things, aging in particular, some other human services. The great benefit that I think Emerald Isle receives from that organization is they coordinate the regional transportation planning for our area and really for all areas. And so it's important for us to, I think, have a good presence with that group and maintain good relationships going forward. So the General Membership Board meets 4 times per year, typically in New Bern. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Are you guys ready to nominate for the Audit Committee? I'm already, yeah, okay. Do we have to nominate me, or am I already on there?
Do we have anyone who'd like to volunteer?
Okay, that's, okay. Would you like to volunteer
I'll volunteer.
for the Audit Committee? I will as on the mayor's seat.
And I'll nominate Commissioner Plum if she's interested.
Yes, I'll do it.
Okay, so let's begin the roll call vote for, to appoint Commissioner Brownlow, Commissioner Plum, and Mayor Lagos to the Audit Committee. Although, do we have, no, that's it. Roll call. Commissioner Sanderson?
I support Commissioner Brownlow, Mayor Lagos, as well as Commissioner Plum for the Audit Committee.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Appointment.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Brownlow, Mayor Lagos, and Commissioner Plum.
Thank you.
Okay, Brownlow, Lagos, and Plum.
Brownlow, Lagos, Plum.
Brownlow, Lagos, Plum.
It sounds like Clue. Okay. Okay. So then now we need a nomination or volunteer for the ECCG General Membership Board.
I'll do it.
I'll nominate Commissioner Sanders.
Okay.
Sanderson, I'm sorry.
Any other volunteers nominations? Nope. Okay, let's move forward with the roll call vote. We'll start with Commissioner Plum this time.
Sanderson.
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 Okay, fantastic. Okay, so thank you all for committing your times to these boards and committees. And I guess now it's time for comments from around the room. So Lindsey, if you want to get started.
I just wanted to say I'm happy to be here and excited to work with everyone and
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
We're glad to have you.
Okay, and then Attorney Saletto.
Long meeting today, but next meeting, we will definitely have some new legislation going into effect for the new year, and I will definitely provide a report on that. But good to see everybody here, and welcome to our new board members, and Mayor Lagos.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
Okay, and Mr. Rush?
Just a few things to point out. So with the election of Commissioner Plum, we have a vacancy on the planning board now. And my question for you is, would you like us to advertise for applicants for you to fill that vacancy, or would you like to consider the previous list of applicants that you reviewed back in the summertime?
I would prefer just going back to the pool that we've already received.
Okay.
I agree.
Anybody have any concerns with that approach?
I've had additional people reach out, and I think there's some good qualified candidates. So I would suggest that we solicit applications.
I concur with Commissioner Plum.
I think reaching out to the people that have already applied so they don't have to apply again to gauge their interest. They may still be interested, they may not, but times change, things move on, new interest is garnered. To echo Commissioner Plum's point that we may have a qualified applicant that's already applied, but we may have a more qualified applicant that hadn't had the opportunity yet. So in the name of fairness and equal opportunity, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, all right. You all are, it sounds like everybody's comfortable with that. So we will purposely reach out to those that applied the last time and were not appointed, and we'll also advertise, and we'll put that on your agenda in January for an appointment for the remainder of that term. So Thank you. I included a graphic in here, and I sent y'all an email a couple weeks ago. Banks Water Corporation has indicated that if the town is interested in placing the town logo, the blue-green logo, on the water tanks, that there's an opportunity to do that if we are willing to pay the cost of that. I'm awaiting more specific cost estimates. We think it's probably going to be somewhere in the $40,000 per tank range. It does depend on the number of colors, and obviously the blue-green logo's got sort of different shades of those colors in there. But I put a graphic in the packet of what that would look like. They did just request that Banks Water remain mentioned on the tank somewhere. So you see a blue stripe on the tank that retains their name. They also are looking for a $10,000 annual advertising fee. So my intent with this is to get some more detailed cost estimates for you to consider and bring this back for your consideration either in January or in February. We are working on replacing beach access walkways. We're going to be soliciting bids for 5th Street, 20th Street, and Santa Maria, and try to get those done before the busy spring season. One of the things that we're also working on is a new sidewalk on Lee Avenue, on the west side of Lee between Archers Creek Court and Emerald Drive, and we'll be moving forward with that. We have about $100,000 in the Bicycle and Pedestrian Fund. Depending on what the quotes come back, we may put that on the agenda in January for you all to take a look at that as well. Several other things in here. I won't go over all of these things. If you have any questions or concerns about any of these items, by all means, please bring them up. The only other thing I did want to point out for you is I'm targeting sometime between February 19th and February 27th for your annual budget planning workshop. For those of you who are new, that's an opportunity for us to present detailed budget projections for the current year and also for next year. Also give you a sort of a preview looking forward in the future. But most importantly, give you that information so you can consider that. But most importantly, get a sense and give you an opportunity to talk about your highest priorities, both for next year's budget as well as over the next 3, 5, 7 years or so, and start to build the capital improvement plan. So please, just, you don't have to do it right now, but just let me know via email sometime real soon which of those dates are better for you or maybe not possible for you, so we can try to get that scheduled. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about anything else in the packet or not in the packet.
One quick one, you mentioned, excuse me, the potential for a sidewalk on Lee on the west side from Archers Creek Court to Emerald Drive.
Yes.
I know approximately 2 years ago, I know the potential for that came up. There was money for it. It was discussed. I live in the area and know just about everybody on that street, and there was a lot of concern with watershed and mainly watershed, you know, stormwater runoff and that kind of stuff. I know it's a busy use, but just based on the fact we looked into it once and we got a lot of pushback and it ended up getting tabled. I'm not sure what happened with the money, when we used it for paving or something like that, but as soon as you have updated information on that, 29 days ahead of the next meeting, if you would just make sure we all know about it and make sure the public is aware of it, so that even at a public comment at the beginning of the meeting, they have a chance to voice their thoughts, concerns, all that kind of stuff. I know it didn't become a big deal, but it was a big deal to a lot of people, so
yeah,
appreciate any rapid updates on that. It would be great.
Yeah, absolutely, we'll do that. And I've already met with one property owner on the corner of Emerald and Lee and went out to the site and met with her and had a good conversation with her as well. And I'm planning on doing that with the person across the street and then also up at the corner of Archers Creek Court as well. The vast majority of that area is really just adjacent to the marsh and shouldn't impact anybody. We'll absolutely give you an update. So.
Thank
you. Yeah, Frank, I was looking through there. There's a lot of information. Again, I appreciate all that, the data and statistics and all that. The monthly budget on page 199, looking at the November budget report, the general fund's tracking at 41% of expenditures, and I'd like to note that appears to be a healthy point for where we're at in the fiscal year. And to me, that's an indication of good, responsible, and fiscal management. And I'd like to say thank you for doing a good job with that. And then the thing I'd like to highlight is that our annual solid waste data, during the peak rental season, the trash tonnage nearly doubled from May through August. And I just thought that was an interesting statistic, and we were talking about that yesterday at lunch a little bit too. So let's see if there was anything else. There's, I think that's it. Just a couple of notations. We talked earlier today, you answered a lot of my questions already, so thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, I think, you know, at this point, 5 months into the fiscal year, we're in pretty good shape as far as the current year budget's concerned. As I mentioned, when we get to the budget planning workshop, we'll give you a more detailed breakdown and let you know if we're concerned about any of the revenues maybe coming up a little short or maybe the expenditures. But at this point, I think we're pretty confident that we're in pretty good shape going forward. On the statistical reports and the monthly reports, those are very important to me, and we're working on improving those and hopefully making them a little bit easier for people to understand and follow those. So.
Will you be putting together a sheet like you did for the tax assessments and how people would be hit with those assessments, the same as for this loan to buy the Pebble Beach land? You were saying earlier it would be like 25 cents on a penny. And I think if people understood what that looked like financially, they'd understand it better. Because what does that equate to, actually?
In terms of the cost on their actual tax bill?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll certainly go through all of that stuff
Okay.
as well. And, you know, when we give you the budget projection for the current year and for next year, we're going to basically be forecasting out what we think that tax rate might need to be next year. And some of that's going to, a lot of that's going to depend on the choices that you all make as a board going forward, but absolutely can characterize everything that way.
Thank you.
Any other comments for Frank? No? Okay. Well, I guess we can just move on to the comments from the board before we go into closed session. Kris, would you like to begin?
Sure, thank you. I just want to thank everyone that came out. Most people have left. This has been a long meeting. Thank you for your support, and it's good to see all these faces here at our meeting, and hopefully people are online. It's one of my goals is to get people more interactive with these meetings and attending these meetings. So I appreciate that, and I hope you all have a great holiday. Thank you.
Commissioner Holland?
Thank you for the last 4 years. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve as your mayor. It's a privilege that I will cherish for life. I'm super proud of it, and I'll always remember it, and I'm always grateful for the opportunity to serve as your mayor, and I'm extremely grateful to have the opportunity to serve as your commissioner. Thank you to everybody that ran in the most recent election. Congratulations to everybody that won a seat. I look left and right, and I mean this wholeheartedly and in all sincerity. I think we have 6 people up here that have a really good shot at working together and doing the most good for the most people in this town. I truly believe that, and willing to work with any and everybody up here to do just that. We won't always get it right, but I can assure you, I promise that I will always do my best, and we'll always have an open ear and an open mind, and to work with the men and women up here with me to serve the town the best that we can. And thank you again for the opportunity. Merry Christmas.
Commissioner Brownlow?
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you, the Mayor Kristen Kyle Lagos.
Bohannon Lagos.
Bohannon Lagos. I got to add that too. That's all. And then Commissioner Kris Plum, congratulations to both of you. And I'm looking forward to working with you both as we continue to build a strong, sustainable, community-centered Emerald Isle. And your willingness to step up and serve is greatly appreciated. I'd also like to send a congratulations to the incumbents and re-elected now Commissioner Holland, Commissioner Sanderson. I look forward to continuing our work together, and then to a message to the community that in our church, Chapel by the Sea, and the other area local churches, that over the past few months, as my wife Joy continues her recovery, our family has been overwhelmed by the prayers, the love, the meals, the support shown by our family beach community, and the compassion has meant more to us than words can express. And I'm grateful to share that Joy is making positive progress in her recovery. I know that the kindness and encouragement from the community have played a big part in that, and thank you sincerely from the Brownlow family. And as we enter Christmas season, I want to wish everyone a safe and peaceful and blessed holiday. Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year to all of our residents, visitors, and town staff and commissioners and mayor and your family. I look forward to working with the new board in the coming year to achieve great things, strengthen our community, and ensure that Emerald Isle remains a sustainable, welcoming family beach for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Sawyer?
I'd like to congratulate our new mayor and our new board members. I look forward to working with everybody. I know this has been a long meeting. Number one, staff, thank you. You're rock stars as always. Information you provide is just so, these books, it makes it so easiest for us to sit up here and make informed decisions by your hard work. So I do appreciate that. Appreciate the citizens for coming out tonight. Merry Christmas, my favorite part of the year. I get to say I see you all next year in the next meeting. So appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Again, Merry Christmas. Hope you have a safe holiday.
Congratulations, Mayor Lagos and Commissioner Plum, and as well as the Commissioner Holland. That's a little hard one to get used to. But anyway, I look forward to working with all of you, and I hope that we can continue to move forward in a positive direction for the benefit of all the people of Emerald Isle. And as always, we appreciate the rockstar staff that we have and for the information that you give to us and the citizens and your input. Carol, I can't thank you enough for passing along the resources that you do. We really do appreciate it. And it's a Merry Christmas to all of you and your families. Safe and happy travels if you're doing that. And I look forward to seeing you and working with all of you out there as well as all of you at the dais next year.
I would be remiss if I didn't thank our Emerald Isle Garden Club for our beautiful tree back there in the corner. So I just wanted to point out that they got the tree, decorated it, and set it up, and it looks beautiful. So thank you to the Emerald Isle Garden Club.
Okay, so I think I will probably just second everything everyone has said. I don't know if I can say it so eloquently this late at night because I'm getting kind of hungry. But thank you all for being here, and I look forward to working with everyone on this board and getting to know everyone and how to move forward best for Emerald Isle. Okay, so.
I make a motion that we go into closed session.
Thank you very much.
I have to say pursuant, go ahead.
Pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A3. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you all. Merry Christmas.
Motion's on the floor.
Can we have a,
Oh, yep, we do.
all of those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Did we turn the microphone off for closed session?
Yes.